Good morning, Coach. I
Morning.
just wanted to ask you about what your expectations are for Thursday in terms of the environment and the crowd. I mean, what's the number you're hoping to get? I mean, I don't know if you want to put a number on it, but what crowd and environment would you like to see? And would you like to see, and how many like students would you like to see in general?
Well, I'd love to see all the students at Indiana want to come over and, support our team. But, my expectations are high. I'm going to put, you know, um, not pressure, but a challenge out to, Hoosier Nation and our Indiana fans that want to come out and see a really good women's basketball game played at a high level on Thursday night to come out and, you know, in particular, selfishly support the Hoosiers. So and I think I speak for all of us, our staff and our players, we'd love to see a great turnout without question.
Wilson.
Terry, your I think three highest scoring games in Big Ten play have all come in the past 3 weeks or so. I'm just wondering, is there any particular reason you can put your finger on for that?
No, I just think we are, with the exception of maybe the Minnesota game, we're playing. We've played pretty well, and offensively, and certainly on the defensive side of the ball as well. Nothing that I put my finger on, Wilson. I think it's just collectively, this is a balanced basketball team. We can score in a lot of different ways. Certainly Mackenzie's been, so good on the low block. But I think she's just allowing the game to come to her and not really pressing. But, I like the aggressiveness that our guards have played with as well. And that's going to be important Thursday night.
Jim.
Thanks. Hi, Coach.
Hi, Jim.
We've never met, but it strikes me that for a team that's suddenly ranked number 2, you're not getting a whole lot of love from the national press, including us. But can you encapsulate what is different this year than, say, last year when you were a good team but not a great team, with more or less the same personnel?
Well, I'll only answer that question if you answer me this question. Why haven't you given us the love?
Well, in my case, because I have been shifting from one place to another and not writing a whole lot this year. But the answer is I don't have any idea why.
Right.
I Googled you guys to see whether the national press has been covering you, and they haven't, and it's ridiculous. You're a great team, but but now what I need, since I'm about to
Sure.
is for you to encapsulate for me what's going on this year that makes you so much better.
I think we're just a better basketball team than we were a year ago. We've certainly added more scoring power to the mix with being able to shoot it at a higher clip from outside. I think we have interesting pieces. Like I said, I think we have a balanced team. I don't know that you can, just really, zero in on one of our players. I think Purdue tried to do that the other night against, with Mac, and, Chloe steps up in a big kind of way. So, I just think we're a difficult team to match up with because of the pieces we have and the way we can score the ball from the outside, but also attacking the rim, putting the ball inside. I think we play with great discipline. And then I think on the other side of that, we're just really stingy defensively. And, I've had a lot of really tough teams. When I say tough, I'm talking about their mantra, their moxie about them. But this team has an extra level of toughness that I don't think we had a year ago. And trust me, Allie Patberg will bite you, and so would Nikki, Hillary. But this team just plays with a different level of toughness that I think, I know we didn't have a year ago as well. And I think that's why we've had the success. And the thing about it is, this is a really unselfish team. They really don't care about the accolades and all of that. And if you guys, not you guys, but I'm just saying, if the national media doesn't want to give us attention, as we've always said, we're just going to allow our work to be our voices and the noise. We can't get caught up in that. It's unfortunate that we talk about the same teams year in and year out, the same players year in and year out. You could tune into our game and we're still talking about, and again, no offense to Caitlin Clark, but Caitlin Clark's not playing that game that on that particular day, but we still want to talk about Caitlin Clark during, the Ohio State Maryland matchup. So, we do that with UConn and we do that with other teams as well. And it's just unfortunate because there's so many really, really good basketball players out there and programs, and us included in that we don't get the attention. And I don't know if that's being lazy. I don't know what the answer is to that, but from a sports writing and national attention and all that, if you guys not you guys, again, I'm not singling you out, Jim, that people don't want to do the work. They don't want to pay attention. They don't want to turn on the TV and watch Indiana women's basketball. I don't know what the answer is to that, but I will say that I'm really proud of this team, and I know we have a long haul ahead of us, probably the most difficult stretch of any of the Big Ten teams. But I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish with a group that's really selfless, and they're just hardworking blue collar women that show up every day and have enjoyed, I think, playing with each other as well. And I think that shows the joy that they play with also has helped in our success.
Seth.
Hey, Teri. The games you played against Iowa last year obviously came within that condensed stretch at the end of the year when Mac wasn't herself yet, but they were all kind of tight and emotional and kind of, fiery matchups. Like, how much of that are you expecting this year? Just how much of a rivalry is kind of brewing here?
Well, Seth, I think it's two really, really good basketball teams, with really good pieces on both sides. Certainly Mac was not at 100% last year. We all know that. She feels, much stronger and much more confident and healthier and so forth. It's still going to be, I think a tough matchup for both teams. And, it's like I said, I think it'll be a really good basketball game. And I'm just grateful that, we are this game is being played on where we do have healthy pieces, right? All of our team in particular is healthy, and we're not having to play and then turn around the next day and jump on a flight and play them again, a day later. And that's the whole scenario that we got caught up in last year and happened to play them. And so it should make for a really good matchup.
Tyler.
Hey, Coach. I hope you're doing well. This is a bigger picture question, I guess more personal for you, but who got you? Was there someone that inspired you to get into coaching? Is that something you always knew you wanted to do once you were done playing? I guess just how did your coaching career start?
Well, I just think that anytime, you grow up and you're an athlete, and then you get to play at the collegiate level, and then you get to be around high level coaches like the way I was able to do with Lynn Dunn and Gail Guston-Kors and Tom Collin. I mean, they were my high school or my college coaches. And so, I think you just eventually, you watch enough film and you're around them long enough to be inspired and realize that maybe this is a path that you want to go down. And I always knew I wanted to be around the game. I didn't know in what capacity, if I was more suited to be a high school coach, but then I had the opportunity to jump right into college coaching, and then from there it's certainly turned into a passion. And there's a lot of people that I look up to and have helped me with and during the journey of coaching, because you from colleagues to other coaches, but certainly I would give the nod to my college coaches that really, I think, kind of set the wheels in motion for me to want to dive in and be a college coach.
Skip.
Good morning, Coach. Thanks for your time. Last year, all three of those games, Iowa was able to take you guys for 50+% from the field. Talk about the difference this year defensively. Of course, fast forwarding, you're holding teams to about 37% from the field to like 57 or something like that points per game. Talk about the difference in terms of the defense and how that will help you stop Monica Cesano in the paint.
Well, again, I don't think that you can. I think you got to throw a lot of different, looks at Monica. And that's what we plan to do. But, Skip, we've always prided ourselves on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like I have the best staff in the country when it comes to prepping and game planning and whatnot. And, we feel like, we have the right game plan. And, our kids just have to do what we ask them to do. And there's going to be some, game slippage throughout. Monica Cesano is going to score. Caitlin Clark's going to score. We know that, and our kids know that they're terrific players. And so you're not going to keep them from scoring. We just have to be true to who we are and lock in on the game plan and lock in on, each one of those players, give them different looks, control the boards, control the pace of the game throughout, take good shots, not have any live ball turnovers where they can get run outs because they like to run as well. So a lot of the things that, are going to have to happen, in the game tomorrow, and in my opinion, are not going to be things that you're going to find on a stat sheet. They're going to be other things, the intangible things that we're going to have to be really good at tomorrow.
Jim, did you have another question, or your hand still raised from earlier? You're on mute there, Jim.
Yes, I do.
There we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned how so often on national broadcasts, all you hear about are players who aren't there. Tell us a little bit about why Mackenzie Holmes should be one of those people being mentioned on other people's games this year.
Well, let's see. She's shooting almost 70% from the field. All right. Averaging 22 points, almost 8 rebounds a game, shooting 70% from the field on a team that's won 22 games. And has played, I don't know, Megan, 6 top 25 teams. Rattle off, right? You want to talk about the net. You want to talk about all the great teams that we've played against. The proof is you can look at the stats, but all you got to do is watch her. She's pretty phenomenal, has tremendous footwork, has extra soft hands, can score in a variety of ways, is the ultimate team player. She requires a double team every night. Sometimes she doesn't see that, and that's good for us. But on most nights, she's gonna see a double, sometimes a triple. And I think that's just, like I always tell her, that's just respect, that they have, other teams have for her skill set. So I think you really have to be able to, come and watch us play on TV to really appreciate. She's kind of a throwback, Jim. She really is. She has quick hip, in terms of how she gets around players, in terms of how she can step through players and make plays that normal post players can't make in small spaces. And so you can look at her numbers, but I think she's really a kid that you have to be able to watch and appreciate, how she scores the ball, because she's like I said, she's pretty unique in her own right.
Thank you.
Seth.
Yeah, just as you've kind of dove into, the game planning for this year's Iowa team, is there anything that, they pretty much have the same group back this year that they had last year. I mean, is there anything that they're doing differently that you've seen that you're kind of expecting tomorrow? And I guess how much differently does this team match up, for your team match up against them this year than what you had the last couple of years?
Yeah, Seth, they're not doing anything different. I mean, Caitlin's going to take Caitlin shots, and she's going to hit a few, sometimes a bunch. She's a great facilitator as well. And then Cesano is going to be the recipient of a lot of, Caitlin's passes, as well as, from the other pieces. So, it's a two-headed monster you're going up against, but you also, they got some surrounding pieces that are really good as well, that can knock down shots. Martin has played really well against us last year. And so, they're not any different. As you said, they got everybody coming back, although they're the freshman post player that, Stolke, she's been really good off the bench, to come in and relieve, Monica. And so, I do think that she's done a really good job, for them off the bench. And for us, like I said, I think we're different. We're bigger, we're bigger on the perimeter. I think we have, like I said, I think we're better defensively. We're tougher defensively. So I think it'll be, like I said, I'm not making any promises, but I just think it'll be a really good matchup. I have confidence in our group that we are better than we were a year ago. And with Mac being healthy, I think that gives us a really good chance.
Wilson.
You mentioned you think this game is going to come down to the intangibles. I'm just wondering, what are those aspects you think it comes down to? What will it take mentally to win this game?
Oh, I think it's the toughness. I think it's the 50-50 things that happen inside the game, with hustle plays and, but I do think there's us understanding that we're going to get, and again, we're going to get everybody's best down the stretch. We've continued to get that, and I was not going to be any different. But I do think that being able to make some of the hustle plays and us being able to adjust, they're going to adjust, do some things different defensively on us as well. And so just making the right decision. The next right decision for us is going to be important. So it's about our decision making, but also, about the things that, like I said, don't show up in the stat sheet. And number one being just our toughness, our ability and our willingness to get on the floor and get 50-50 balls. And, we got to take some chances, and those have to pay off for us. We gotta maybe, leave a play or two from every now and again and bluff a little bit, do some different things, just to try to keep them guessing. That's probably the best way to describe it. So, and that all has to go our way.
Matt.
Yeah, just in general, I guess, for these next few games, including Iowa, do you expect Mackenzie Holmes has been doubled frequently throughout this season, but Purdue in that last game, especially that first half, really took the most aggressive strategy against her that I think we've seen this season. Do you expect teams throughout the end of this season and even into the tournament are going to take kind of that blueprint? And I guess what is your guys's plan to still get Mackenzie Holmes involved in that case?
Yeah, I don't know that I will bring the double. They at least they haven't. I'll knock on wood here. They haven't in the past. I think they felt like Monica could guard, Mac one-on-one, and that's, take out last year. Mac and Monica have always had some really good matchups against each other, one-on-one matchups, and so I don't anticipate. And I could be wrong. I don't anticipate them bringing a double tomorrow night. But as we move forward, everybody has double team Mac, or has taken a chance of playing off like Purdue did, Chloe Moore McNeil, and trying to really clog it up in the low block. And so we just have to those kids, and that's where give Chloe credit, right? Matt, she stepped up in a big way, and if they weren't going to play her, she was willing to knock down shots outside the arc. But the other thing I loved about Chloe is that she just didn't settle for that either. She attacked the rails throughout that game and got to the rim. And so, yeah, I mean, if that continues to happen, which we anticipate it will, because like I said, Mac is the best post player in the country. I think that everybody else will have to step up, and like Chloe did the other night. And she's capable of that.
Jim, last question. Go ahead.
Coach, you largely play 6 players.
Mhm.
Almost 30 minutes for your top 6 players. And what does that mean as the grind of the season goes down, as you get into, back to back to back? I mean, not exactly back to back. You've got a couple days in between this tough schedule where you're playing really good teams to end the season, and then into the tournament where you're going to be playing much closer to each other.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about that? I mean, there's several other teams like UConn is playing really shorthanded.
Right.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, and I've talked to Chris Daly and I are friends. I mean, it's really about load management and being able to look at your practice schedules and maybe shave off some stuff here and there that you would normally do this time of the year. But I will say this, Jim, we've been a team the last, probably 4 or 5 years that we've played with a short bench. And, a lot of that is that I feel like we have a very durable group. But we've also, as coaches, tried to lessen their reps, lessen the practice time, in understanding that these kids are playing a lot of minutes. And, at this point, it's more about the preparation, because we're such a team that relies on our defense. Our preparation's a little bit different than a lot of other teams that either play zone, and or may play ball screens one or two different ways, or whether they're going to trap, whether they're going to switch. Well, we're very scouting report specific, so we watch a lot of film, but we also have to be on the floor with our players, because players, I'm convinced, have to go through it. They can see it, but they have to do it. And so we're that team. We're actually where we're going to prep and we're going to play every team differently. So we just can't walk into, and go, we're just going to sit in a 2-3 and hope that you miss, that's not us. And so, yeah, so I think I've been more mindful, if that's the right word, just of, as we go down the stretch here, especially in the next 2 weeks for us, of really making sure that I'm paying attention to what we're doing in practice and trying to, less is better right now. I learned that from Lynn, Coach Dunn. She reminds me of that all the time. So get in what we have to get in, and what our kids have to see, and trust that everything else that they, we would have probably done a month ago, because this is a group that also get in extra and get shots up. So I don't have to, the reps in practice for them to shoot the ball and get shots up. This is a group that's always, done things differently in terms of the extra. Yeah, so I think that's the answer to it. I'm trying to be more mindful of, especially practice reps right now.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Coach.
guys.
It's been a pleasure.